All right, so I hope you guys can see my screen. All right, I'm going to start with something that we normally deal with on a day-to-day basis in any public address system. All right, which is just a general PA. As I said this morning, we're going to do what we call packaged amplifiers or a general PA system from TOA. Number one, what I'm going to present to you is just TOA microphones. There's a whole list of TOA microphones you can choose from, but I've just chosen a few that are generally used. And from these, I'll just discuss with you a little bit, present them. Then we come to the next product, we do the same. Come to the next product, we do the same. Like I've said, this is just a shortcut to the whole library of TOA microphones that we do sell. So if you guys have had the chance to have the TOA catalog, the big gray TOA catalog, you will see that in that catalog, there's a lot of equipment. So I will not be able to present everything at one go, but I'll touch here and there and cover as much ground as possible. All right, so let me just go straight to the first PowerPoint and take you through. We all know for a PA to work, whether it's a packaged PA, which I'm dealing with right now, you need to have an input, you need to have an amplifier, you need to have an output. So in our case, we're starting with the inputs. Basically, it can be a music source, it can be a microphone, it can be a guitar, it can be anything. So what I've done in this particular presentation is just to bring you to the highlights of what we sell in the terms of microphones that we generally sell. And as you know, each and every microphone is designed for a specific purpose. For us to achieve what we want to achieve in purity of sound, in intelligibility of sound as an output, we need to make sure that our input is clear. Like there's one common language that people use. Akim, can you accept those two colleagues in the waiting room, please? Thank you. So there's basically one fundamental law that applies across the industry. Number one, I call it garbage in, garbage out. It also is a law that a rule of thumb law that also applies in computers. So what we are saying is if you put bad signal into your amplifier, the amplifier is not a magician. He's not going to give you a clean output. You need to put in a very decent, clean input for the amplifier to do its process and give you a high output that is also clean. So it is critical that whatever we're doing, if we are using microphones, we use the right microphone for the right application. All right. I hope that's fine. So let me do this. Let me have my highlighter on. Those who have just joined us, please, you are more than welcome. You are free to type on the chat if you want. You are free to unmute your microphones and ask the question. Feel free at any given time. So Akim is going to be our timekeeper as we go forward. He will let us know when to take a recess, and we take a recess and we continue. Right. Sorry, my mouse is playing up. All right. So microphones in the industry are basically split up into two distinct categories. Generally, across the industry, we have mostly two types of microphones. These can be dynamic microphones, all right? These can be electret or condenser microphone. As you see on my slide, you do have what you say condenser microphone is this one that has, come on, sorry guys, my screen is just froze up. I don't know what happened. All right. Sorry, I just froze up for some reason. All right, let's just sort that one out. Okay, for now. Right, so we have what is called condenser microphone. People do call it studio recording microphones. Sometimes they call it electret microphone. These are basically high quality microphones that have very good characteristics of picking up sound. And we have what we call dynamic microphones. These are used generally by almost everyone who uses a PA, all right? Be it in a mosque, be it in a church, be it at a public address event, be it almost everywhere where you need to speak to an audience. Normally, you do find these kind of microphones available. It can be a TOA microphone, it can be a Shure microphone, it can be a Bear microphone, it can be, as long as it is handheld, usually these are dynamic microphones, right? Let me, before I go further into the next PowerPoint, into the next page, dynamic microphones, number one, these are normally handheld and they are called moving coil microphone. They do not need phantom power. Condenser microphone, these are electric or capacitor based microphone. They do need a voltage. All right, we'll discuss that further as I present the microphones from TOA. These are the most common TOA microphones that we normally sell across the continent. Basically, we have a DM1100, which is just a standard sound microphone for normal audio application when you are talking for a presentation, when you are doing a conference call, for example, and you are sitting across a table, you are addressing other guys over there. Normally a DM1100, that's very good for normal audio, normal speech applications. We also have another variation called a DM1200. It can be a DM1200D, but it's basically also a normal voice microphone. Then we do have, sorry, my PowerPoint, I made a mistake, but I'll correct it before I share it with you. We do have a DM1300, all right? A DM1300 is specifically designed for both speech and vocal, all right? So if you are going to be having the microphone used, say maybe by a pastor, and at times when he has done his speech, he needs to give the microphone to the choir to sing. So a DM1300 is a good microphone because it does that. It does both vocal. It is also designed for speech. So it's speech and vocal. Then we have the DM1500. This is essentially designed for singing. Okay. So where I'm saying vocal, I'm referring to singing. So if you have a choir, they want microphones. Maybe you have an audience, they need to sing. So the difference between normal speaking and singing, everyone knows, is when you are singing, you are pushing a lot of pressure onto the diaphragm built inside. So a microphone that's not equipped and manufactured for that purpose, it will create distortion. So a microphone that's designed to handle those high pitches, those high sounds when people are singing, are designed for vocals. All right. So the DM1500 and the DM1300, these are designed for vocals, for choir applications. All right, let's take a look at some of the common features amongst these microphones. Number one, most common features, these are called moving coil microphones. Sometimes they are called dynamic coil microphones. Sometimes people call them dynamic microphones. They are basically one and the same. And number two, quite important, both on the sales and technical. I think we have somebody who's got a microphone on. Thank you. So both on the technical sales and anyone else on the platform procurement, these microphones, all we need to know is what does the microphone do, and we need to know what we need to know before buying is what is the end user, the client, going to use the microphone for. All right. So if you are not sure, you're always welcome to let us know that I've got a client. He's a pastor. They want to have church microphones for the church, maybe 10 of them for the choir, 2 of them for the pastor, and maybe the other 2 for something else. So what you can do, we can then say to you, okay, for this application, take so many of those ones, take so many of those ones, take so many of those ones. So this is where we come in to assist you. Like I was saying, these are rated at 600 ohms. Okay, we'll talk about impedance a little bit tomorrow when we do the technical stuff. But this is what we call is the resistance of the microphone. It's called impedance in this case. So it is rated at 600 ohm. As you know, guys, the technical team that's on this forum. You know, with our normal line array speakers, our big bass bins, our big speakers that we normally have at a function, these are normally 4 ohm speakers rated at 500 watt, can be 8 ohm speakers rated at 250 watt for argument's sake. These are normally low impedance values. Speakers are normally in the range of 2 ohm, 4 ohm, 8 ohm, 16 ohm. Max you can find is about 32 ohm, but these are normally in telephone handsets. But for standard microphones, dynamic microphones, standard dynamic microphones, they are normally rated at 600 ohm. Okay, these are quite robust built. As you can see, even from the structure across the industry, if you take a Shure 50 SM58 microphone, the build is quite robust. They can be handled a bit rough, but please don't do that. They can be handled a bit rough without having any issues. They do not require phantom power. All right, that's one of the characteristics. Let's take a look at some of the condenser microphones that we buy from TOA, or that we support, or that we sell. Like I said, there's a whole big range, but I've just brought to the platform just a few, just to have an idea of what it is all about. Number one, we have a very common one that's that's selling very well in your region. This is normally the EM410, specifically designed for an imam and designed for mosque sound application. So we normally sell a lot of EM410s into Nigeria, Ghana, all the Western countries that normally buy, West African countries that normally buy from us, especially for mosque application, the EM410. It's a really fantastic microphones. And for those that know, it's a lavary, which means it can be clipped onto the collar of an imam's gown. So as you praise and kneels down and does what he has to do, the microphone is equally good to pick up the bass voice without any distortion. So this is an EM410, like I've said, very well designed for mosque applications. Then we have another microphone called EM600. As you see, it's a tiny little microphone, and people ask, what does it do? So this microphone is designed for sound pickup, where you can install it if you want on a ceiling facing downwards. As you see, there's a rubber band over here. There's also another rubber band on top. So this can be mounted on a ceiling facing down, or it can be mounted on a boardroom table facing up, and then you connect your wires down at the bottom, right? Specifically designed for boardroom solutions, right? This, what it does, because of the rubber here, it actually works so well that even if I'm going to do this, I can tap on my desk. I think you have seen it in meetings. Some colleagues get bored easily and he starts tapping, or maybe he starts rustling some papers. This microphone has got very good pickup characteristics. It will ignore some of these noises, and even if you are moving things on the desk, because of the rubber, that sound that's supposed to come from the desk does not get transmitted into the microphone. So we have used this one in most boardrooms here in South Africa, and all our customers have been really amazed. It's a very little microphone, very tiny in build, but it works like a magician. Okay, then we also have a boundary microphone. A boundary microphone does typically the same, but this one, as you see, it can just sit on the table where you want it to pick the voice around it. So it's an omnidirectional. It picks up from every side. It's a very good microphone as well if you want a voice lift during your meetings, also for boardroom application. The other microphone that we have, which is a condenser microphone, is the EM800. This is normally used by churches, all right, where the pastor needs to preach, and he also needs good sound quality capture. So it got very good pickup characteristics, mostly used at churches. All right. So it's called the EM800. Some of the other microphones that I am not going to present that we have are also in the same range. We have got plenty of them, but for the purposes of us here, it's just to know EM410, normally used by mosques, EM600 for boardroom application, EM700 also for boardroom application, EM800 it can be used for almost anything, but normally churches do go for this one. Common features, these are all electret or a condenser type of microphones, as they are normally called in the industry. They've got a very high impedance patterns, very good sound characteristics, very good pickup patterns, but they require what is called phantom power, right? So for some of us who are not technical, phantom power is simply refers to a voltage that needs to go into the microphone for the microphone to work. That's the simplest explanation. But for those that are technical, as you know from the missing discs, we do have normally a 4852 stroke 52 volt phantom power switch. You can switch it on, and then any phantom powered microphone can work through your mixing desk. Okay. And also, phantom power is not really necessarily 48 stroke 52 volts. Some of the microphones do work with very little phantom power. In fact, phantom power can be as little as a half a volt all the way to 48, 52, the standard one that you find on missing desk. All right, let me admit one more colleague. Akim, can you do me a favor, please? Thank you. Right. Thank you for joining us again. It's a pleasure to have you on board. Right, so let me do this and we can continue. Right. Okay. I'm just taking a screenshot so that I can know how many participants are here. Right, some of the microphones that we have from TOA are wireless microphones, very common with almost everyone, be it a house of worship, be it at a school, be it a community hall, be it a function. People go for wireless microphones. Number one, you can have a handheld wireless microphone. You can have a body pack lavalier type microphone. But microphones, as you know, as they are wireless, they need to talk or connect to a tuner. So any wireless microphone will have a tuner connected to it. All right. So we do have what is called the WT5000 series, which is very, very popular with most of our sales. And then we do have the the WM5000 series handsets. These are also very popular and they work with any of the 5000 series tuners. There's several tuners, for example, there's a 5000, WT5800 tuner. There's a WT5805 tuner. There's a WT5810 tuner. So these are all tuners that work with these microphones. Can it be a handheld microphone? Can it be a body pack lavalier type of microphone? Okay, and the body pack lavalier type of microphone can be changed, and you can use what is called a headset microphone, like the one that I'm wearing on today's presentation. You can also have something like this. This will be from TOA, of course. Akim, can you also allow one more? We have another one waiting for you to accept. Thank you. We do have as TOA. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Trantec range of microphones. Trantec was originally run from the UK for many years. In fact, Trantec is a TOA brand that was actually designed and specifically for the British market. Okay, so we do have Trantec series like the rack and ready systems, which can have 4 tuners in a flight case, and you can have 4 body packs. You can also have 4 microphones if you want. You can have as many tuners, as many rack and ready systems with equally as many microphones handheld or as many body packs per system. So we do support the Trantec. It is our brand. We do sell the Trantec system. It can be a rack and ready, which is what I'm seeing on the picture. It can be an individual, which means you buy from us just the tuner plus the body pack, or you buy from us the tuner plus an associated handheld microphone. So it's completely doable. And then lastly, we just introduced a brand new range of wireless microphones called the WTD 5800. So this is the latest range of microphone from TOA that we have just released. It's called the WTD 5800 series. Also, it can work with handheld microphones. Also, it can work with lavalier body pack microphones. Right, common features of this range of microphones, as wireless range of microphones. Some of the common features are, number one, they are UHF. So they support UHF series. Number two, some of them, depending on the model, they do support up to 64 channels, depending on the model. So 64 channels of transmission is huge. What it simply means is I can have a conference setup. I can have maybe a microphone setup where I'll have 64 of these microphones and 64 of these handsets. And each handset can run at a separate frequency to its mother tuner. So in other words, I would have 64 microphones in one particular venue, all working at the same time without crosstalk, without cross interference. That is very critical. Otherwise, if we don't have this separation of the frequencies, we're gonna be into trouble. So what I wanted you to note is, depending on the model number, okay, these microphone tuners can support up to 64 channels. What it means is I can have tuner number 1 to 64 on a different channel. I will also have correspondingly a microphone from number 1 to 64 on a different channel, matching the tuner that is supposed to communicate to. Right. All these, you have an option of a handheld microphone. You do have an option of a body pack. And also, something that I need you to note, TOA microphones are very efficient on battery use. We only use 1.5 volt batteries, double A batteries. If you choose good quality batteries, you are able to run at least about 8 hours, depending on the usage, without your batteries needing to be exchanged. So for a particular session that run about 8 hours, you just need one battery. If you want batteries that are rechargeable, you can ask us. We'll be able to sell you the right battery that we supply, specifically designed for TOA equipment, and that's the rechargeable battery. Right. Any questions regarding TOA microphones? Things that you want me to point out, or if you are still in need of any explanation regarding the TOA range of microphones? Any questions?